Live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Everyone, this is Fox 12 Now. I just want to pull up. That is a live shot of Portland looking, well, it's looking gloomy, but you know what? That's what Portland's supposed to look like most of the time. But there we go. That's what's happening up there. It doesn't look too crazy, but I appreciate all of you joining us. So we are live streaming here every weekday starting at 1 p.m. Pacific. We're on Facebook and YouTube and, of course, our website and our apps. So lots of places to find this show and engage in the content that we have, the segments that we have, and the conversations that we get to have here with this. But right now, we're going to be talking about something that's returning to Portland in, well, less than a month. I'm talking about the Rip City Comedy Festival, the second annual comedy festival for Rip City here, coming up in, like I said, less than a month. It's a huge deal. And we've got joining us right now the founder, Joe Bukowski. Joe, great to see you, again.
Yeah.
And I got to say, pulling off one festival is a huge enough task, but then having to come back and do it again, it seems like you would think it would be easier, but I'm gonna guess it kind of doubles the work.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely set a pretty good, like a high bar for ourselves last year. Went really well, and we kind of found our vibe. And coming into this year, it was just kind of about looking at how we can make it a little bit different and what additional things, kind of like what we learned from last year with some of the feedback from comics and performers, and just kind of seeing how we can improve and how we can kind of build on the experience and kind of the vibe from last year. So it's it's definitely a lot of work, but we've got some great people working with us this year, and the whole original team is back. So actually, we were kind of chomping at the bit to get started back in September,
Nice. So yeah, that shows, the amount of time that it takes to get all this together. But I mean, like you said a really great bar last year of just, bringing something together that the city hadn't really had for a while, a comedy festival like this. And for anybody who doesn't know, can you kind of give the rundown of just what the Rip City Comedy Festival is and maybe why you wanted to start it in the first place?
Yeah. So we started this project a couple years ago, myself, James Bowski, who when we both worked at Helium Comedy Club, and we always saw these sorts of opportunities to do more besides just selling chicken strips to comedy fans. And with James having experience in the scene and my background in marketing and kind of working different festivals from a previous time in life, we kind of put those two things together, and just it felt like kind of this passion project that was attainable. So we set that goal last year and just started reaching out to different comics and people that we felt would be a good fit to work with in some of those great local shows, in some of the things and the programming that really creates the culture of this comedy scene. And we were able to work with some really great talent last year. And so after a few months off, it was like, why don't we do it again? But what else can we do? And so we kind of hit the ground running for year two, and figured out what we wanted it to look like, and everything feels really good.
Yeah, and something that you just mentioned in there that I think is really interesting too, and talking about that culture of comedy, here in Portland, in the Northwest, but really, the scene that Portland does have. Can you, for you, what is the culture of comedy in Portland?
Man, I don't even know that I'm equipped to speak on it, because there are so many amazing different performers and programs and communities, and I think that might be the culture itself, is how big and diverse it is, that any day of a week, any given week, you could just go and find 5 comedy shows and be absolutely impressed with the lineup, or see something you've never seen before. As an example, coming up here, I think it's Friday at Rogue Brewing, Dead Comic Society has Kyle Kinane. It's a free show with Sean Jordan. Like, this is just happening in our community. You know what I mean? But then also there's these programs and these shows that have been built by local producers that have these really fun themes. Like, we're bringing back Leave Your Troubles. I believe that's happening this weekend too, where comics just riff off of the problems that the audience has. And so instead of it just being like stand up, like, this isn't just a stand up scene, it's a comedy scene where you're talking about the queer comedy scene, or you're talking about improv or sketch, like, or just traditional stand up. Everything is here. and it's happening all the time. So I think I'm really grateful to just be in a position to highlight that for a weekend and invite people in and see what this comedy scene has kind of developed into post-pandemic, because it's something really special.
I think that's such a good aspect of it. That yeah, there are so many different kinds of scenes and so many different things that you could go see, and yeah, and all those different aspects of comedy. And I know for this event too, for the one coming up, and I want to talk a little bit more about that. But since that does really relate to what you have going, the lineup for this year is really diverse as well. And as far as both the comedians, but also the types of shows and things that people are going to be able to do.
Yeah, yeah, and we really pride ourselves on that, myself, James, and Leanne, as far as like curating the not even just the comics, right? But like the types of shows, because we don't want it to feel like you're just going to see stand up. We really want to put the focus on, like I said earlier, some of those local shows that have been long running and kind of propping up the scene. And then also some of those newer shows that, like, there are so many great comics and shows in the scene that we didn't get a chance to work with everybody this year. So it's like, even for next year, like, what else can we include? You know what I mean? Who else? So yeah, it's a really a goal of ours is to set that choose your own adventure experience for the comics, as far as the different artist opportunities that they would have, but then also for for the guests themselves, right? Um, I come from the old Vans Warp Tour days, and we had talked about that previously. And there was something really special about getting that lineup for what the day looks like and plotting your course. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I want to go see Bad Religion here, but then I want to go see the Boss Tones, and this is what my day looks like. And what we really wanted to accomplish with this year is to empower our, the fans who will be coming to do those different things. Like, look at the lineup and say, oh, I want to see AJ Wilkerson on Saturday, but then we have Sean Patton on Friday, Lance is Thursday. Okay, cool. Well, this is kind of my map. But now, what do I want to do in between that? We're doing the street art tour. We're doing the different after parties and patio concerts and kind of incorporating more of the Southeast art scene. And so it's really fantastic to just kind of be in that position to put somebody, I don't know how to put it, man, but like to give somebody the opportunity to just be like, yeah, this is what I want my weekend to look like, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to have fun. I'm going to see new bands. I'm going to have some good drinks. I'm going to see some new comics, and I'm just going to enjoy this community, because that's really what we found this is all about, is that Southeast community and all those people that aren't just businesses, right? They're like our homies, then we want to hang out and we want to put them in in a position to be seen as well. And I think this weekend, May 2nd through 4th, really gives us the opportunity to do that.
I mean, it really does seem like a really good combination of bringing, the artists, business owners, however you want to quantify that, and combining that with that fans. And I love the analogy of the Warp Tour, getting your line up there. For those that don't know, that's what you do. You'd have like multiple stages, so you can't see everything, so you try to plot it out, pick out your main ones, and that's honestly one of the most fun things about that. And it sounds like that's an aspect, for this as well is, yeah, you have your touchstones, but then you go get to see something new, something you haven't ever seen before, or maybe you get completely surprised. And having a lot of opportunities like that, I think will really help people, enjoy some of those different aspects that you're talking about, as far as,
Yeah.
whether that's the arts or I really want to know more about that tour too. But I mean, just all of those different things that you can kind of do to experience things that maybe you haven't done before.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of, and like I said before, without over talking it, right? Like, we want that vibe for the comedy fans, but also for the performers. So like, we're bringing in people from all over the country, and we don't want it to feel like I'm doing these three shows and I'm doing this. So we've been really fortunate with some of our business partners like Oregon Roots Cannabis Farm to be able to offer our performers a tour of their farm. So if you're from outside of the cannabis industry, or you're unfamiliar, or you just are a cannabis connoisseur, right? We'll be bringing the comics out on Friday to the farm to do a tour with catered lunch, and they'll get to learn all about the cannabis industry, here from local growers. And I feel like providing that experience, it, like, I don't know, going back to the Warp Tour thing, man, it's like it was cool working it to see Joan Jett play or to know that Joan Jett had fun playing at Warped Tour, but it was more fun and memorable to see Joan Jett playing cornhole behind the main stage with no effects or what, you know what I mean? It's like, and I feel like with these big events, you will see great performers and you'll see really cool stuff, but it's about the memories that you're able to make, whether you're just a fan going to the show or whether you're a comic coming in from New York. You know, we're bringing Julie Baker in from Colorado Springs, and she's never been to Portland before. She's doing Stupid News Live at Funhouse, has never done Stupid News Live. It's just blown up on Instagram. But it's like, you're going to be here for the weekend. Like, this isn't just about like being in town to do your show. Like, let's get you out in the community. Let's meet some local growers, or let's taste some local distilled spirits. Let's listen to some local music, and let's have fun.
Right, bringing all those different aspects of what Portland has to offer,
Yeah.
combined there into one. What do you think it is about the city of Portland and the festival in general that has all these comedians from outside of town wanting to come here to perform for this?
Man, I could speak more about the I feel more comfortable speaking more about the community than like what we did last year, because like I think last year, like I said, we set a tone and we just wanted to create a unique experience for comics, and it went really well and the word got out, right? And it's as simple as that. And so for us, and I think we had kind of mentioned it before off camera, it's like realizing that this is not something like, for this to be what it needs to be and feel how it needs to feel. It can't be about me and Rip City and this component of the business. It needs to be about everybody else. And I think that was what we were able to create last year. And we're able to do that again this year. So maybe that's why the word got out, and that's awesome, you know. But I think more so it speaks to the interest of performers, and whether they're comedians or, you know, sketch, stand up, whatever, bands coming back into the scene post pandemic, because Bridgetown Bridgetown was a really big thing, and it was, this was a thriving comedy scene pre-pandemic, and it really picked up post-pandemic. And I think as everything started to get going again, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, Portland! Like, I missed that place, or I've never been, or I've heard about it." You know, whether we were talking about like last year bringing in Amy Miller and Curtis Cook and some of those older the past guard, if you will, and now this year having more of the current comics and the current culture, being able to show that off to these people that are coming from out of town. I think there's that. I think that's what people are finding. The scene has always been special, and then there was a little break because of this little global pandemic thing, and then after when everything started to get going again, you see everyone stretch out and really build the scene back up. And I think that's traveling across the country now. You know, there are local comedians like uh, David Whitey and you know, others that you look around this scene where they're getting hundreds of thousands of views, and you're seeing the helium logo in the background and the Portland representation and all these Instagram reels that are going viral. And I think a lot of that interest in coming back to Portland more than anything is being driven by this new wave of comics and kind of the new guard who is very socially active, who are really getting their brands out there and getting their performances out there, and that's catching up. And the scene is really making waves in a very positive and healthy way just by being who they are. I think it's fantastic.
What would you say to somebody out there who maybe isn't as familiar with the Portland comedy scene or a comedy festival, but is interested in this to go for the first time to maybe check out a lot of different artists? How would you recommend they go about it, and what would you want them to get out of going to something like this for the first time?
Sure. How would they go about it? I mean, you could go to ripcitycomedyfest.com, and you could check out the lineups. We just announced we have different VIP packages for all of our headline comics on sale on the website. Each of those comes with an unlimited access pass to all the shows, like we said, so you can plan your trip, and kind of see what you'd like to do throughout the weekend. And what I hope you get out of it, honestly, just as a dude who loves this town and kind of found this as my home, I hope you see all of these amazing people and what this community in Southeast Portland is. Past just a place to like get drinks and watch comedy. Like the people that make Southeast Portland are so important to me. And whether it's the businesses or the business owners, there's so many great stories that happen in that part of Portland on the daily. And there's so many great people involved that I just want everybody who buys a ticket to feel like they found something new that they like about that community or something they didn't know about that community or even Portland in general. Like I said, you're going to see some great comedy. We got Sean Patton coming. These jokes are going to kill, but yeah, you're going to remember the jokes, but what was the memory you made? If I can do that for as many people as possible, that's the goal. That's the vibe this year, is to kind of celebrate the community. And so if everybody leaves this weekend feeling that one way or another, then rock and roll, we'll do it again next year.
Perfect. Well, Joe, anything else that you want to let people know about? Because I know you've got a lot going on.
Yeah,
The
there's so
website.
much.
Yeah, there's so much that you packed into this. I don't know how you
Yeah.
did that, but
Yeah.
yeah. And any other thing here before we wrap up that you want people to know about?
No, yeah, I mean, so net, right? It's May 2nd through 4th, Rip City Comedy Fest, ripcitycomedyfest.com. We got a couple cool incentives and fun things going on. We just launched our Instagram digital scavenger hunt. So if you're looking to win, we have products from our sponsors, we have ticket giveaways, and we have a grand prize that you get VIP access to anything Rip City Comedy Fest ever for all time if you complete the scavenger hunt and get entered into a drawing. So how you do that is just follow our Instagram. You'll see Scavenger Hunt 1, and you can just follow the steps there to win some rad prizes. And we're also doing a promo code for Lance Bangs' show on Thursday because we want to see as many of our friends and family and community members out as we're going to be at Crystal Ballroom Thursday night. If you use code Oregon Roots, you can get a $10 general admission ticket to come see Lance Bangs, Common Girls performing. We're bringing in a bunch of different talent for that show. So not trying to pack it all in at the end, but
No, I mean it's a lot. It's a lot going on, and the VIP tickets in perpetuity for any Rip City Comedy Fest. That's a pretty good incentive.
Yeah, why not? I mean, if we're
have a trend.
gonna say if we're sitting here saying like this is about our community and the family that we've been able to build in doing this project for a couple years, like absolutely, I want some people to do a scavenger hunt, come hang out with us forever. Like, yeah, come to all the stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that as long as we keep that vibe up and we just kind of stay true to that, then we're exactly where we want to be. So.
Well, Joe, thank you very much, for hopping on here too to talk about it. Congrats on the second annual and all of that hard work that you're putting in. I have no idea how you get all that into one festival and even with all the other stuff, but nonetheless.
Neurodivergency. That's the answer.
There it is. A whole other discussion. Yeah. Well, Joe, awesome. Great to talk to you. Great to catch up. And I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon too. And looking forward to the Comedy Festival.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
You bet. Thanks, Joe. And for everybody who's watching as well, again, this is Fox 12 Now, so we're live streaming here every weekday. We cover a wide range of topics on this show, so all kinds of segments, and including, talking about Rip City Comedy Fest coming up here in just a little bit. We've got Eric Gordson from Around the House Northwest who's going to be joining us. You all are familiar with that show. He's going to be talking about some tips for building a fence and a shed. So we're switching gears completely there. Also on the show, if there's breaking news, we cover that as well. All kinds of things are on here. So if you ever want to send me an email, fox12now@kptv.com, feel free to do so. And if there's a segment or an interview or something that you would like to learn more about, maybe a deeper dive on a news story, let me know. Maybe we can make that happen. But we'll sign off for right now. Talk to you right back here in about less than 10 minutes. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.